Welcome back everyone to the Merciful Metal channel. My name is Thomas, and as record collectors, we're looking for records. Sometimes you find records that are very rare, very expensive, and for both of these reasons, some records really need a reissue, but they just don't get it. Never has been. So if you want that record, and for me personally, mean on vinyl, because that's my main focus of collecting right now, vinyl can get fucking expensive, especially if records have never been reissued. So that's the topic of today's video. I made a list of 10 records that I think really need a quote-unquote vinyl reissue, because some of these that are on this list, I do have them on CD, but the final version never has been re-released or whatever, very hard to get. It's not, I'm not gonna pick low-hanging fruit here and then find some real obscure stuff that has never been reissued on vinyl. That's easy, I could name 100 of these, but these are records, like some of them in here, if you didn't really know, might come as a surprise that they don't even have a final reissue. And some of these, like, they are particularly well known. I mean, more in the underground. It's not Metallica records or whatever, but I can guarantee you, at least half of these records on here. And some of these, like, how can they not have a final reissue? I'm gonna name 10 that I think really need final reissues. So without further talking, rambling, first off is the second record of the thrash band Vio-lence, Oppressing the Masses. This one only has, I believe, 2 final versions. One, the regular one. Also, a South American press from like a random South American country, even with the album title translated to Spanish, but it never got a final reissue. This is one of these records that music on vinyl should really fucking jump on. Yeah, only released back in the day. 2 final versions exist, I believe. Hard to find, expensive, and Vio-lence is a pretty big thrash name, so yeah, it needs a reissue. Next up, the second one. They are in no order, so no best from whatever. Second one is one I am fortunate enough to own an original, and that is Ripping Corpse, Dreaming with the Death. This is one of my, if not favorite, death metal records, and my biggest death metal grail in my collection. But yeah, it is like an underground gem. It has never been re-released on vinyl, and I think a lot of people are on the hunt for this record. It's like the last few years it's going up in price like fucking crazy. So yeah, for some like death metal vinyl hunters, it is really expensive. This one, the underground treasure as it is, really fucking needs a reissue. And I believe there are some like issues with the rights or whatever that that I'm fearing we'll never see a Ripping Corpse reissue, but let's just hope for that. It really needs one. Next up is from a genre that I am not really that familiar with, doom metal band Solitude, Aeturnus, and their second record, Beyond the Crimson Horizon. Liam, death doom metalhead, you feel my pain here. This has only been released on vinyl once back in the day in 1992 on Roadrunner or Road Razor or whatever the fuck. Yeah, epic doom masterpiece. I don't listen to a lot of doom metal at all, but this record is fucking amazing, and it is expensive. An OG press, well, the only press on vinyl, very expensive. So this one, yeah, it really needs and deserves a reissue. Next up, you know, at least I think you know the backstory of why this has not have a final reissue, and it's my favorite Pantera record, and that is their fourth studio record, Power Metal. I mean, their whole fucking back catalog. I could name their whole back catalog for this one, but Power Metal is my favorite, and in my opinion, their best record. You can find me over that. And I think we all know why this stuff hasn't had a reissue, because they simply don't acknowledge. They don't acknowledge it. They don't want to reissue it. They don't like it. And I think they're fucking stupid for that. It is good stuff, even those glammy records, whatever. But Power Metal is just such a strong effort of this band, and like I said, in my opinion, their best work, Dimebag Darrell or Diamond Darrell, is fantastic. He's the best on this record, I swear. Yeah, this is a record that, and like I said, their whole fucking back catalog, that stuff needs and really deserves recognition and final reissues. I mean, there are bootlegs out there. I do have a bootleg of Metal Magic, but that doesn't count. Come on, we need official fucking Pantera reissues, and especially fucking Power Metal. I love that record. Next up, number five. Yeah, number five. This is one that really surprises me that this has not have a reissue yet, because like I said, it's from quite a major band. It's from Sodom, and we all know Sodom, legendary German thrash band. And this is their record from 1992, Tapping the Vein, probably their heaviest effort, and just a fucking underrated, great fucking record. Did I said fucking twice there? I don't know. Yeah, it needs that emphasis because it needs a fucking reissue. Anyway, Sodom Tapping the Vein might come as a surprise to some people, but this one has never been reissued on vinyl. For a major band like Sodom, like what's the problem? What's the deal? Why not? I would really love to have this one on vinyl, but again, only one vinyl version from back in the day, expensive as fuck. So please, I think a lot of Sodom fans are really on the hunt for this on vinyl, as well as this one is a bit of a shift. But Marty Friedman, his solo record from also 1992, Scenes, I love that record. That record is so special to me. I love it. Can't stress enough how much I love that record and Marty Friedman stuff. But this also comes as a surprise to me. There's only one final version of this record, and it was released in 1993 in South Korea. I don't fucking know. Just like with the Vio-lence one, there are final issues that are released in such random places, instead of like North America, Europe, whatever. Like the only final issue of this one is a South Korean one, and that baffles me. Like, especially again with a big name like Marty Friedman, what's the deal? What's the deal with Airplane Peanuts? I don't know. Just re-release this one on vinyl. Come on, we need it. We want it. At least I want it. Next up, number 7, another death metal one, which I think a lot of people are after in the like the death metal fans. Surprisingly, never had a reissue, and well, surprisingly, it is quite underrated. It is a fucking classic Floridian death metal band, but mostly known for their gimmick that It's the previous band of Cannibal Corpse, George Fisher. I'm talking, of course, about Monstrosity, Imperial Doom from also 1992. Yeah, 1992 Imperial Doom, classic Floridian death metal record, fantastic one. Only has one final issue from back in the day on, I believe, Nuclear Blast. But this is such, yeah. Why is a record like this not being reissued yet? It's it's stuff like this that I know it's a little underrated, and it's not like the best death metal record or death metal band, but it's such a fucking underground classic, especially with the huge following of old school death metal. This really needs a reissue. Let's yeah, like everything else on this fucking list. Um, Next up is one that has had a reissue. If I said it right, it had a reissue in, I believe, 2015 on vinyl. It's also the first time it has appeared on vinyl. I'm talking about the Death Cult demo of Coroner, classic Swiss thrash band, and this is a fucking legendary demo tape in my opinion, because Tom G. Warrior from Celtic Frost sings on it. It has been reissued on vinyl by, I believe, No Remorse Records. I'm pretty sure No Remorse Records. I do have it on a CD, but the final version is it has been released in 2015, which is quite recent, but the price has gone up like crazy, and especially for like a treasure like this, how come like we need another final reissue of this one? Like, No Remorse, you can do it. You can, I don't know what's up with the rights and shit, but if you've released it once, I bet you can make like a second pressing. Would love to have this one on vinyl. Legendary demo tape. Next up, this one is for you, Metal Theologian. Underground treasure of US power metal. Probably one of the biggest treasures you can find, from 1985 or 1987. Don't shake your head, Aaron. Commander, the High and Mighty. This is like an underground gem of US power metal. It's such a fucking epic record. Love this one, and this is one of these since like in the last few years, there really has been a resurrection of like these really old school obscure bands, like in the vein of this one. And this one, if you want a copy, you could easily pay like 500 euros for it if you manage to find it. It's very rare, it's very expensive, but it's such an epic record. It really deserves and needs a final reissue. And last but not least, I'm gonna close with another underground treasure from Sweden this time. 1984, Swedish heavy metal legends Gotham City and their record The Unknown. Again, same story with the previous one. You can easily lay down 500 euros for a copy of this, if you even manage to find one at all. But it is such a classic in the Swedish heavy metal world. This one really fucking classic. Never been reissued or whatever. I feel like this is one of these underground gems that really deserves and needs a final reissue. And those were the 10 records that I have noted over here. Some underground treasures in here, some classics in here that surprisingly don't have a final reissue, like the Vio-lence or the Sodom one. Some obvious ones like the Pantera stuff, but I think these are records that I really would love to see a reissue from, but also think that really need a reissue because there is just an audience for it. I mean, we all love Sodom, or Coroner, or shit like that. These are just records that so many people are after and just deserve a reissue. I keep rambling, so I'm wrapping it up here. Yeah, let me know in the comments if there are records, if you agree, first of all, if you agree with some of these, if there's one in here that you say, fuck yes, this one really needs it, I approve. Or if you have, like, you can even make a response video, I would love to see that. If you can come up with 10 records, and like I did final, but you can just do whatever the fuck you want. 10 records that really deserve or need a final reissue. Let me know in the comments, whatever. Love to talk to you guys. I hope to see some answers, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.